One of the biggest shocks during qualification for the 2018 World Cup was the fact that Italy failed to qualify. They were in a tough qualification group and they ended up finishing second behind Spain. So they went into the playoffs, but they lost against Sweden, meaning that even though they've won 4 tournaments in their history, they are not competing in this summer's World Cup in Russia. So it got me thinking, what if Italy had beaten Sweden and qualified for the World Cup? How would they have got on? Well, that's what we're going to find out in today's FM18 experiment. What I have done is I've removed Sweden using the FM18 editor and replaced them with Italy, as you can see here. So they are in Group F with Germany, Mexico and South Korea. Pretty tough group. And I'm going to simulate the World Cup 20 times to see if they can win it. I would hope that they'd be able to at least get to a final in that time, if not win it. They do have a very good team. As you'll know, Mancini has just taken charge of Italy in the last couple of months. However, on the game, there's no manager of Italy after the last manager left. So I'm going to leave it up to the fate of Football Manager to decide who takes control, for the simple fact that if Italy actually had qualified, perhaps they would have kept with the previous manager and Mancini wouldn't be in charge. So I'm just going to let the Football Manager gods decide on each simulation which manager takes control. It might be the same manager each time because Football Manager can be a little bit predictable at times. They've got a very good team. Buffon is still involved according to Football Manager 2018, and he's one of the best goalkeepers in the world and still world class. They've got some very good defenders. They've got Bonucci, of course, who's still around the squad, Verratti in midfield, Jorginho in midfield, and Belotti up front, who is an exceptional striker. Whether this team is selected every single time I simulate it, I don't know. We'll let Football Manager decide, I suppose. Has Chiellini retired from international duty? I didn't think he had, so he might get selected as well. But anyway, let's get on with this experiment. How many times do you think they can win the World Cup in 20 attempts? Will they win it? Let's find out. Not a bad start, eh? They've managed to reach the final of the first simulation, only losing to France 1-0 in the final. This is quite impressive. Now, those of you that have watched my recent World Cup simulations videos will know that France were very successful. Out of 1,000 simulations, they won it over 200 times. So they are a very strong team on Football Manager. And Mbappe actually scored the winning goal. So Italy really unlucky not to win it at the first attempt. That would have been really impressive. I'm just going to have a look to see how their World Cup panned out. I'm not going to have a look at every single simulation because that's going to get a bit samey. But obviously I'll show you a few, especially the ones that if they manage to win. But as you can see, they qualified from Group F in second place. They did beat Mexico and South Korea, but drew against Germany 3-3. What a game that is, to go through in second place, which meant that they would have had to take on Brazil in the second round. So obviously they won it. They won 3-2, cracking game. Belotti got a goal, Verdi and Zaza also got a goal, so he was selected for the World Cup. So Chiellini was selected for the World Cup, as you can see there. And yeah, Brazil falter at the second round to a team that in real life haven't even qualified. You might spot some other interesting things. You can see Morocco have actually managed to reach the quarterfinals where they lost against France. Italy thrashed Belgium 4-1 in the quarterfinals. What a performance. Mertens did get a goal for Belgium, but Verratti, Zaza, Verdi and Jorginho convincingly beat Belgium in Moscow. Semi-final then, they beat Spain, who are one of the most successful teams in my simulations experiment. France scraped through in the other game against England. Bonucci got the winning goal in the 67th minute. So in the end, Spain did win the third place playoff, and Italy unfortunately lost in the final. Morata was best player, but Chiellini, second best player of the tournament with a 7.43. Picked up 3 assists playing at centre, well, I presume at centre back. Golden Boot was won by Morata, as you can see there. Thought I'd show you the second simulation, even though Italy didn't feature in the final. Denmark managed to win it 2-1 against Germany. Now, we saw Denmark do quite well in my 1000 simulations experiment, so it's not a massive surprise, but yeah, impressive stuff from them. Italy did finish fourth. They lost against France once again, this time 3-0. So Italy did quite well in the second simulation. This is encouraging for them. They've obviously got the quality to reach the final 4. They actually topped the group, 5 points. They drew against South Korea and Germany, but they beat Mexico 3-0. Second round, they managed to defeat Switzerland 3-1, thanks to goals from Insigne and 2 goals from Belotti. Quarter-final, they thrashed Belgium once again, 4-1. It went to extra time this time. but late goals in extra time got them the win. It might be because Courtois went off injured, and I'm assuming they had to play they must have played an outfield player in goal, and it obviously enabled Italy to get 3 goals in extra time. But in the semi-finals they did lose against Denmark. Bit of a shock that. Jorgensen with the winning goal, Belotti got injured, and then of course they lost 3-0. But Belotti did end up being top goal scorer in the tournament, so he's obviously got goals in him. He also won the Best Player award. So I've skipped ahead to the 5th simulation. In the 3rd simulation they were knocked out by England at the quarterfinal stage. In the 4th simulation they actually finished 3rd in their group, so that was a big failure for them. They also were knocked out at the quarterfinal stage of the 5th simulation. Belgium have managed to get some revenge, as you can see there. Italy went down to 10 men late on. So it's not quite going to plan yet. We've seen them reach a final, but we haven't seen them win the World Cup yet. They did top Group F in this particular World Cup. They seem to be breezing through the groups on the whole. They've managed to qualify 4 out of 5 times so far, but unfortunately they're not able to go on to win the tournament yet. Zaza actually won the 2nd round game for them against Brazil. Really impressive stuff actually to beat Brazil once again. But that 3rd stage, the quarter-final stage, they did lose against Belgium. We went on to see Spain beat France on penalties. So we're now at the halfway point of this experiment. 10 simulations completed, and as you can see in this particular simulation, Serbia defeated Italy in the 2nd round on penalties. It really hasn't gone to plan. In the 6th simulation they were knocked out by Serbia in the 2nd round. In the 7th they were knocked out in the 2nd round by Brazil. In the 8th simulation they did get to the quarterfinals but lost against Colombia, and then in the 9th simulation it's the 2nd time they were knocked out in 3rd place in their group. So it really, after an encouraging start, it has kind of gone downhill for them, and this was a poor World Cup. If we just have a look at the group stages to see how they got on. So they did actually top the group. Germany were knocked out. That they didn't lose a game. They managed to get a draw against Germany, and they defeated South Korea and Mexico. Now I've noticed the manager nearly, I think every single time, is actually Sarri, the Napoli manager in real life. So he's taken charge of Italy, but when they don't do very well, he basically either is sacked or resigns from the role. So he doesn't last very long. In the end, Argentina went on to win this simulation. Spain are doing particularly well, by the way. They've won quite a few so far. So finally, some progress. It's now the 13th simulation. In the 11th simulation, they lost against Colombia in the quarterfinals. 12th simulation, they lost against Brazil in the 2nd round. But this time around, they finished 3rd. They thrashed Nigeria in the 3rd round. Belotti with 4 goals to get that 3rd place victory, and he did end up winning the Golden Boot award as a result of those 4 goals with 8 goals. Really interesting final. Croatia 4, Mexico 1. Mexico actually reached the final in the last simulation as well. I think they lost against Spain in the final. But yeah, curious final. I'll just show you the group stage to see how Italy got on in this particular World Cup. So they did finish 2nd behind Mexico, who went on to finish 2nd. Mexico won all 3 games. Wow, Mexico doing really well actually. I've noticed that they've qualified quite a few times. 2nd round, Italy won on penalties against Serbia. They have struggled against Serbia in the 2nd round a couple of times actually. Quarter-final stage, they defeated Belgium in extra time once again. Verratti and Bernardeschi with the goals. Verratti got sent off in extra time, but they were able to hold on to that victory. Mexico beat England, by the way, to get through. Semi-finals, we saw Mexico beat Nigeria in extra time, and Croatia beat Italy in extra time. Belotti got a goal, Insigne went off injured, and Croatia got a 93rd minute equaliser to send it to extra time before Kovacic and Mandzukic managed to get the winning goals. So we're now 3/4 of the way through this experiment. Italy have managed to finish 3rd once again. So far, out of the 15 simulations, they finished 2nd once, 3rd twice, and 4th once. I think that's correct off the top of my head. They actually won this convincingly, beating Argentina 3-0. Verratti, Insigne and Bernardeschi with the goals. But they just can't seem to get back to that final. After that first simulation, they have disappointed us. The final was actually competed between Brazil and Croatia once again. Brazil went on to win this one though, thanks to 2 goals from Neymar. I suppose, thinking about it, Italy didn't actually qualify in real life, meaning they shouldn't really be competing in this tournament, but they've done quite well overall. They've managed to reach 4 semi-finals out of 15, which isn't too bad, I don't think. In this one, they did top their group. I've noticed when they have been knocked out in the group stages, it's been very close. So they actually, in the 14th simulation, Germany, Mexico and Italy all got 5 points, and Italy just lost out on goal difference. But this was a very successful group for them. They scored 5 goals against South Korea and 4 against Germany to knock Germany out and go through to the second round, where they defeated Serbia 2-0. Thanks to an own goal and a goal from Belotti. He is banging in the goals. I do love Belotti. He's one of my favourite ever strikers on Football Manager. I had an exceptional strike partnership of him and Lacazette with West Ham a couple of Football Managers ago. Quarter-finals, they beat England 1-0 in extra time thanks to a goal from Zaza. That man Zaza with the goal. Chiellini sent off late on, but they were able to... In fact, look... Chiellini sent off before the end of 90 minutes, goes to extra time. Harry Kane misses a penalty. 2 minutes later, Zaza knocks England out. What a story. But in the semi-finals, they weren't good enough once again to beat Croatia. The dark horses Croatia managing to get that win over Italy. Belotti did finish second in the Golden Boot Award though. I just want to double check that actually. Mandzukic won best player of the tournament. Yeah, he did get second place in the Golden Boot. So I've simulated all 20 World Cups now, and Italy have failed to win a single World Cup, unfortunately. In the 16th simulation, they were knocked out by Colombia in the quarterfinals once again. They do seem to have a bit of a problem against Colombia. In the 17th simulation, they finished third in their group. 18th simulation, they were knocked out by Brazil in the second round. 19th simulation, third in their group once again. And in this one, the 20th simulation, knocked out by Brazil once again in the second round. They just end up facing Brazil a few too many times in that second round. And even when they faced Serbia, they tended to struggle against them as well. So it's not been ideal. So they managed to reach the semi-finals 4 times out of the 20, 1 in 5. That's okay, I think. I was expecting them to actually win one of these World Cups in the 20 simulations. If you'd like me to do a part 2 where I basically simulate the World Cup until Italy wins it, then hit that like button. Let's say 500 likes, and I'll do a part 2. I mean, that would be a bit of a chore because it could go on for a long time until Italy win it. But if we get 500 likes on this video, then I'll do that for you. So in this World Cup, they did actually finish second behind Germany. That's the problem. Finishing second in the group tends to mean they have to face first place Brazil from Group E, and of course that causes problems. Belotti did get a late consolation goal, but Brazil were just too strong for them. Overall, I suppose they've been a little bit disappointing. I really thought they could win it with the team that they have. I just thought they'd win it out once out of the 20 times that I simulated it, but yep, it wasn't to be. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I've got lots of other World Cup ideas swimming around my head. Whether I do them all or not, I don't know. We'll see how well received this video is. And like I said, 500 likes today. And I'll do a part 2 where I simulate until Italy win the World Cup. I might be here a long time if we do that. But until next time, enjoy FM18. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you very soon.